Hi everyone, we have here with us Jan Ijäs. He's the director of Waste No.4 New York, New York from the international competition at Curtas. Jan, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for this interview. And I'd like to start by asking if you could describe your film a little bit and how the idea for it came about. I know that this is number 4 in your waste series, which is about reflecting on the human production of waste and its meaning in our society. So if you could also give us some context how it fits in with that all the parts of the series.
Okay. Even this New York, New York is number 4. It was the very beginning of the whole series of the waste films, and we started with this one. But after it was quite difficult in a production-wise, we did a couple of other films before this one, and the first ones, what was before this one, the first one, number 1, was about money. It took place in Zimbabwe. And it's a story about the worst or the greatest inflation of the money in the world history, and how the people completely lost the value of the money and so on. And money became waste. Second one was about shipwrecks and refugees. Also, the third one was a similar subject, but this one, what is the waste in this film? There is I describe it as a city, well, because the city, this film is about cemeteries and garbage landfill of New York, and actually, we started only with the idea of this landfill called Fresh Kills in the Staten Island. And during that filming, I heard about this island, Hearth Island, which was used as a cemetery for unknown, unnameless people, poor people.
And so the film also shows us the story of New York in the last centuries. Also with the Potter's Fields, which is the cemetery.
It's a kind of a funny story, because after we finished this film shooting, I realized very soon that this is a strange way, strangely, of the history of the city, because these Pottersfield land, the cemeteries has been always built beyond the city walls. And it was funny to realize that the first cemetery for unknown people was beyond the city wall, was in where is nowadays Wall Street is located. It's a very downtown, and since the city grew up very fastly, and they needed to move with these cemeteries always up north, and to end up in this Hearth Island, what is nowadays a small island ahead of the Bronx.
Mm-hmm. Yes, one of I think the part of the story that we can see in your documentary is how these Potterfields, these cemeteries, they have been gradually pushed to even outside of the city. They started in the city, in the not the center, but like in Wall Street, like you said. And with each new disease, each new plague or each new disease, they have been farther away. Was that something that you wanted to show us, that you felt was important?
Yeah, because it was really, and actually, it's not so. The period of the time is not very long, because. First Pottersfield was located in Wall Street, and it was in 1700 or something. And in the 300 years, the New York became as a huge city like nowadays it is. And this Fresh Kills landfill is also actually quite new. They started the landfill in late 1800 and early 1900, or between that, and and it became very soon, very fast, the biggest landfill of the whole planet. And why it is so interesting is because it's only built up from the household waste, not like industrial waste or anything like that. It's only built from the very small particles like pencils and drinking glasses or something very small, and these small pieces made up of the biggest landfill in world history, and at the same time as it is made out of the household waste. It's an interesting place because if it ever will be found in the future, in a long-term future, some archaeologists has been said that it will be the most valuable treasure in the world history, more valuable than the Valley of the Kings or Tikal temples or anything like that, because from archaeological way, these small particles can be the picture, the portrait of our civilization in a very clear way. And as it's packed so tight that the carpet is so high pressure in that hill that when they did the one archaeologist called William Ratje did digging in there, and they drill it like a pipe until the 50s, and took examples away from that hole, and they found the half-eaten hamburger from there. And he said that it was so well that kept in a high pressure that he said that he could almost have a bite from that, and which was quite interesting.
Yeah. The Fresh Kills Landfill really is an amazing story. I hadn't heard about it. It's interesting also because now it's all covered up, and they you show they are turning it into a park. But
it's something that we'll see that if it never happens, because when I first time visited that place, it was almost 15 years ago already, and they already said 15 years ago it will be parked very soon, and nothing has
because
changed.
They have a lot of problems, right, with the pollution.
But exactly, because it's still leaking all kind of very toxic liquids and things like that.
But that's interesting because it's almost like it works as like a reminder that we cannot put our waste away, right? It's like a warning sign of what we are doing to our environment.
But the interesting thing is also in this particular landfill is that because this kind of landfills can be not produced anymore because we do recycling nowadays. This Fresh Kills build it up as a non-recycling age, and now when we recycle the glasses, the batteries, metals, and everything, then this going to be not going to be happening anymore in the civilized countries.
Yeah, and you also showed that that's where they buried the remains from the World Trade Center. So it's kind of it's like at the end of an era also. Because
it was a strange, horrible story anyway. But there were no place to take the World Trade Center remains anywhere else in New York because it was, of course, a big amount of remains and carpets and metal and concrete and also a lot of human remains, the victims of the attack. And so it's also nowadays kind of a monument of, and also kind of a cemetery too, like Hearth Island is a cemetery, and the both are like the gives of a kind of a picture of the history of a big city.
Hearthstone is also a very incredible story. It's a bit shrouded in mystery, but you tell its story since like the first infant that was killed with HIV, for example, that is buried there, and
deeper than other the bodies.
Yeah, and
because they were afraid that.
Exactly. They were afraid of the contamination. But unfortunately, it's recently been in the news because of these mass graves that they built for the deaths from the COVID epidemic, which affected New York. It was like unthinkable images, something that you probably thought that could not happen again. So, what were your thoughts when after you were seeing that of the island after having investigated that they were in the news for this horrible thing?
Yeah, of course, it's the history continues. It's exactly like it used to be, like this cemeteries, what used to be in the area of Manhattan, they were also used of this kind of same kind of epidemic about the cholera and the things like that would hit in New York, and they needed always big cemeteries to bring the bodies there, and exactly like today. Today. Not yesterday, but today. Tomorrow too.
It's a very actual subject that you filmed.
And strange enough, it's still like it used to be today.
I would also wanted to ask you a couple more things. First, more about your process when you are filming and shooting. Do you start with the images and then write the text or the narration, or do you usually start with the text and then you go look for images? Does it change with every film, or do you have like a fixed?
It depends. It depends a lot, and because I do like to improvise during the shooting, and I have a kind of a synopsis. And that's about it many times. And because writing for the documentary is very difficult, because I don't like to follow any kind of textbook on the shooting of the film, documentary film, because you should always keep your eyes very, very wide open during the documentary filmmaking, and all kind of text and the pre-plans are like only tidying up your hands of shooting, and
it's important.
You have to really keep your eyes open and be open to change your plans like every moment, and because if you see something, you have to follow that what you're seeing, and not following the things what you have been thinking on your desk in your home. That's the biggest mistake what the documentary filmmaker can be doing.
So for you, it's important your emotional reaction to when you go film, when you find something.
Yeah, and just looking the things, and following the light. And another thing is that I always, if it's possible, I use film as a material of filmmaking, and I only have been using just a few times the digital film cameras, and the idea of filmmaking with the film cameras and the film for the material is completely different, because you have always kind of a very, very limited material to shooting, and that also keep you very awake during the filmmaking, and because you have to think about it very closely, that what is important picture and which is not.
Yes. I was also just final question, wondering if are you working on new instances of the Waste series? Or do you have any new projects for the?
Yeah, yeah. I just have been writing the whole day today, and this was all planned already that we could, but this situation, COVID, what we have it right now, that postponed the whole production, and so I have been writing, doing something what I'm not usually do. That like I said, that I have only synopsis, but now I had like a 20 pages because I had nothing else to do than to do this writing, and what I said that I should not do that.
Yeah,
But this
well,
situation put me to do writing, and maybe I have been destroying my ideas already with this writing.
maybe it will be a different film this time. But
Yeah, exactly. I'm afraid.
is it the idea is to make 7 episodes of?
No, I had the plans to do 10.
Oh, okay, okay. And do you know what will be next after 6, or are you still working?
Yeah, that we did already number 6.
Mm-hmm.
That was about internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's called How Great, but now this number 7 should be taking place in Japan, and if I put it in a 1 or 2 words, it's about the granny dumping.
Okay. Okay.
The dumped old people.
Yeah.
It's called opasute, and if you do the straight translation, it's about granny dumping. It's really harsh word to put it, but
we look forward for it.
Yeah, me too, and I hope that we will.
Yeah,
we could go to Japan one day again and continue the shooting.
Hopefully soon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Take care.
Pleasure to be in your part of your festival. Thank you.
Thank you.